Would you like to buy some Overwatch League collectible cards? Also, could I interest you in an Overwatch League team? Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I am Stylosa, and this is an Overwatch news roundup. I'm going to go over all of the news that's happened in the Overwatch world over the last couple of days. So, let's get stuck into this with, I guess, the opening. In fact, before we get into the news, where the hell is the workshop? I was waiting for the workshop to hit the live servers because it's Tuesday, normally at 7 p.m. GMT. We get like an update and the client updates and yeah. Now, the workshop didn't come out last week, and the reason for that was Blizzard said, hey, this is a complicated thing, and we're still working on it, which is totally fine. But the workshop is such a goddamn cool thing. It opens up so many different ways of playing the game, and it's awesome. I want you guys to experience it. So, like, I really want it to come out, but I understand if it's broken or if there's things that don't quite work right, then Blizzard have got to get that sorted before they give it to us because they don't want, like, a broken tool. Although, a lot of the stuff that's been made so far in the workshop is actually incredible. And just imagine how much stuff will get made when this goes live. And also remember, this thing is on the PS4, it's on the Xbox and the PC, but you can transfer the codes between each platform. So if you make something on console, you can play it on PC. It just works everywhere. That is the super cool thing about this. And like Jeff said, and the programmers who set up the system, it's a good gateway into learning and understanding how games are designed and how it works. Because you've got game designers, you've got programmers and all of that stuff. But just like getting your head around the way things work, I think it's super cool. Like, it's almost like looking under the bonnet or the hood, I guess, if you're American, looking at the engine, looking at the inner workings and going, oh, that's super cool. So yeah, I hope this comes out fairly soon, but I understand that they're probably working on it a little bit more. Anyway, let's get stuck into the news. So the first thing I want to talk about is the Overwatch trading cards. Now, this is Overwatch League. This isn't just Overwatch, the standard game. So what they're doing here is trying to copy the format which has been used by traditional sports leagues. Now, this is what Blizzard say. Who's ready to start collecting? We've teamed up with Upper Deck Entertainment, so now you can collect your favourite players and build your perfect team starting June the 19th. Now, that's as much details as we've got. We don't know how much this stuff is going to cost. We don't know what kinds of cards we can buy, but I'd imagine it'll be packs of cards and you'll get random players. You won't be able to buy individual cards. It'll be like buying Pokemon cards, right? This is kind of funny, right? Because I remember when I was a kid, I used to absolutely love the Panini sticker albums, the Premier League sticker albums. I think Panini was the company that made them. And you bought little packets of stickers. They used to cost 25 pence, I believe. When I was a kid, they're probably £2 now if you used to buy them. But they were 25 pence, which is not a lot of money. I remember they went up to 50 pence, but they came in these little red packets. You'd open them up and you get a bunch of stickers, and sometimes you'd get a shiny, and the shiny would be the team badge, and you sort of had to try and fill it in. I remember going to the school like playground, and we used to like trade the cards, and we also used to play Pogs as well. I'm really showing my age now anyway, but I love that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, if they did have the sticker book collection for Overwatch League, I probably would buy it. Anyway, this is coming out for Overwatch League, but there's a little bit more information here. So this is from Esports Insider, and what they say is that, well, they got a bit more info from Jason Mashara. I may have butchered your name, I do apologise. The president of Upper Deck Entertainment, saying this is awesome. This is our first foray into esports and we can't wait for it. But then we've also got the head of esports licensing at Blizzard Entertainment, who then says collaborating with Upper Deck allows the Overwatch League to offer fans everywhere the opportunity to collect and trade exclusive cards and collectibles. So this means maybe we'll get more than just cards in the future, featuring their favourite teams and players that can be cherished for years to come. This is an awesome milestone for companies, for our companies and for esports as a whole. Now, this just goes back to Overwatch League basing itself on a traditional sports league. So, firstly, we got all of the franchise teams, which is, great and fine. There's a lot of controversy with that, but clearly it works. Then we're going to have like the geolocation stuff and all of this stuff going forward. But having this type of merch is actually really cool. And when you look at other esports leagues, if you look at LCS, for example, or like, can we even say Fortnite? I don't think we can really include Fortnite in this. It's not really a league in that sense, but let's say LCS. They've got some merchandise, but it's nothing on the level of the merch that's available for Overwatch League. Now, there's been some problems, hasn't there? Fanatics, not great merch, is it? Actually quite bad quality, which isn't great. The good news is the All-Stars Weekend jerseys, so like these jerseys you can see behind me, are made by Into the AM. Now, these are made, I think this one wasn't. I think these were. Yeah, I think they were made by Into the AM, so they're better quality. This one was a different company. But the good news is those jerseys are made by Into the AM. Thing is, they're $100, which is a bit bloody expensive, but hey. So yeah, more merch is fine. Like, I think this is okay. It'll be nice to see what kind of quality these are. how they come out, we'll just have to wait and see. More info will probably come soon on this. So here's the other big bit of news. This is LA Valiant, it's Houston Outlaws, but it's more specific to the ownership groups of each team. Now, Immortals Gaming Club. This is the company that owns MIBR, the Brazilian Counter-Strike team, or just the Counter-Strike team. I think MIBR doesn't stand for Made in Brazil, but obviously a top-level Counter-Strike team. They also own LA Valiant and Immortals, so like the League of Legends team. They want to buy Infinite Esports Group. Now, Infinite Esports own Optic and the Houston Outlaws. Now, this is the problem. If Immortals Gaming Group buy Infinite Esports, they will own 2 Overwatch League teams, and that is not allowed by league monopoly regulations. That means they can only own 1 team. So the big question here is, what the hell will Immortal Gaming Club do if they buy Infinite Esports? Now, there's 2 ways this can go. The first way, they keep LA Valiant, that's their brand. They sell the Houston Outlaws, or they keep the Houston Outlaws and sell LA Valiant. Now, if they did that, I think they get a massive backlash of like, what the hell are you doing? You're selling our team. That's not great. Thing is, though, I'm pretty sure Houston is like up there with the biggest fan base of any team in the league. So maybe if these like hardcore business guys who run these companies might just be like, you know what, let's just keep Houston, let's get rid of this other team. If that happened, it'd be like, whoa, that'd be a, whatever. I'm not saying that will happen because we don't even know if Immortals Gaming Club are going to buy Houston yet anyway. The thing is, though, Houston is in a bit of trouble. Now, when you look at Houston compared to other teams in the league, it's kind of common knowledge that their backroom staff isn't as extensive as the other teams. I know what it's like with Spitfire. I know what goes on there. There's tons of staff. There's loads of work that goes on. Houston is obviously suffering with, like, minimal staff. But not only that, your players are going to suffer because maybe they don't have much job security. You've got all these other problems going on. Essentially, what I'm saying is if the ownership company is having financial difficulties, then it filters down to the team. And look at Houston. They're not having the greatest time right now. They're on a pretty bad losing streak, and it's only going to get worse because there's a lot of uncertainty. So what needs to happen to, well, help Houston out is this sale, if Infinite do sell, which I think they probably will because they're in pretty bad state if sources are to be believed, then it means that Houston, well, somebody needs to buy them pretty quick and then give them an injection of cash to make them stable and to make them grow. Because I'd be really worried if I was a Houston fan, because you look at the teams around us, you look at Washington, you look at like Mayhem, they are starting to develop their rosters. Paris hopefully will start to develop their roster, and we're like, you're going to start stagnating if you're Houston. It's like, we need to do something. You don't want to write the entire season off. It's really like, well, it's sad times for Houston fans at the moment. So hopefully this does get solved. Okay, next up, sticking with Overwatch League, the All-Stars weekend or event is about to begin. So this is the next big thing which happens, because right now it's the end of the stage. So all the players are, well, I definitely know most of the Spitfire players have gone back home to Korea. Players have all started, like, it's sort of like their mid-season break, but this means we get the All-Stars weekend or All-Stars event. Now, this is super cool because it has fun game modes, like the talent play each other. So the guys who are the casters and the broadcast hosts and or the desk talent and all of that and the analysts, they all get together and they play each other, and it's actually really cool to watch them play. So if you guys don't maybe like standard Overwatch League, it will be fun to watch this because there's a lot of like BM and like crap talking each other. It's really fun. It's kind of like what I'd like to see the players do to each other, because that's what I do, because I'm an idiot, but I'd shout abuse at the other team. Probably get thrown out of the arena, but whatever. Also, right, the big thing here is the 2 awesome skins. So the Lucio skin and the Mercy skin, which, let's be real, the Lucio skin is probably the best Lucio skin in the game. Well, it is the best Lucio skin in the game. His hair changes colour with the crossfade. What the hell? The Mercy skin, probably top 3. For me, it's the best skin, then Pink Mercy. But Pink Mercy has got, like, it's got the story behind it, hasn't it? So you kind of have to give it to Pink Mercy. But, yeah, Mercy always gets amazing skins. Lucio gets amazing skin. But the big thing is, you will earn ×2 League tokens during the All-Stars weekend. So that means, even if you don't like Overwatch League, you can open the browser in a tab on your PC and just let it run. Just make sure you've connected your Twitch account with your Battle.net account so you earn those tokens, and you will be able to get those skins. And I'll tell you what, guys, if this year is, well, going to be the same as last year, these skins won't be available again because the Tracer and the Genji skin are not available anymore. So these are very rare skins. So yeah, you really want to try and get them. Okay, and finally, to jump back onto Overwatch League. Now, this is going to be a spoiler, so if you guys haven't watched the Stage 2 finals and you want to, and, well, I don't really know where you've been because this is literally days ago, but whatever, I'm about to spoil the result. So, San Francisco Shock beat the Vancouver Titans, words, 4-2. Now, Some might say this is a bit of a shock because it's from the shock. No, it's not really a shock. The thing with Vancouver is they were unbeaten the entire season so far. So clearly they were the best team. However, if you were watching the teams play in Stage 2, it was quite evident that Shock were probably the stronger team. And this clash of, well, Titans was going to happen and we're going to work out who is the best team. So I had my money on Shock, but I had it as a really close kind of match. And most of the games were kind of close, but Shock were clearly the better team. So right now we've got a team in San Francisco Shock that it's a mixed roster. This isn't an all-Korean roster, which is clearly the best team right now in the current meta. Now, me as a London fan, I mean, we got smashed by Hangzhou Spark 3-1, and it wasn't even close. Like, we just got absolutely destroyed, and that makes me sad, right? You know, I'm a bit down. I'm hoping the meta changes and it goes to a more DPS-centric meta so we can get like Birdering and Profit on the go again and we're not stuck in like Goat's Hell and Tank Comp Hell, which we don't really seem to be very good at, which is like, but Shock are, and Vancouver Titans definitely are. So this was actually like, you know, the interesting thing with Shock is when I keep looking here at the result and I can see it's 2-4, well 4-2 to Shock, and Shock last year were probably the most boring team in the league. They were like Shanghai, okay, they lost every game, but at least it was fun to watch them get beat, right? In a sick kind of way. But Shock were just like, oh, we're a bit boring. But the thing with Shock is they bought players that they were expecting to come of age, players that would develop through the first season and then they could launch into the second season. And it's clearly working. Of course, they've got Krusty there now as the head coach. They're literally doing a ton of work. They are the benchmark all the other teams are based on in the league, and it's like an awesome redemption arc story from this mediocre team to this really top of the table team. And it's like, what's going to happen? The sky's the limit. Now, like, I hope that the meta changes for Stage 3, in which case things will just get thrown up in the air again and we'll see what happens, who can adapt the fastest. Now, just to end this video on, with Stage 3, we do believe there are some rumours with the Overwatch World Cup viewer actually being put into Overwatch League for Stage 3. So that means if you guys use the World Cup viewer back in the World Cup in 2018 in November at BlizzCon, you'll be able to use that, but for all of the Overwatch League games. That will be actually incredible because it means you'll be able to stop the games, replay the games back, work out what's going on. It'll be awesome for analytical content. But you know what, guys? The next thing will be we'll be able to save all of our games actually just as we're playing, and then you guys will be able to send in little files to me, which I'll be able to load into my Overwatch client, and then I'll be able to see your game as it's played live, and I'll be able to fast forward, rewind, move the camera. It will be incredible for content, and I cannot wait for that. All right, guys, I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I'm going to choke. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @Stylosa. It's also @Stylosa on Instagram. It's basically @Stylosa on all my socials now. And yeah, catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.